Saturday, not yesterday, but the week before, Sigrid's mother passed. And the Sunday right afterwards, last Sunday, it hadn't sunk in yet. So it was this interesting feeling like being in between. But right now, through the week, I can feel it more and more. And it's not that I have been so close with her all the time, but it reminds me of my own losses, my own mother passing, leaving home behind, feeling where do I belong? And where am I rooted? And what is holding me? Now, I'm so grateful that in times of that, we have, just as Tori shared in the children's message, we have a refuge, a rock, a strength, a good foundation to which we can return. But it's also wonderful when Sigrid and I cozy up, cuddle on the sofa, and just are together in it, like just being in the nest. And it's good to know that we're in a sanctuary, in a safe place, and we can come as we are. Just birth sanctuaries to be a safe place where we can come and feel our losses and mourn our losses and also share our excitement and our amazing experiences. So I'm meeting a lot of people, as you can imagine. And I hear from some people, I'm just tired. I don't know how to hold it all together anymore. I feel from some people and get this sense like I'm stuck in between a rock and a hard place, or catch-22. You feel like I don't know what to do in this situation. And I think it's especially in these situations that our scripture reading speaks. Our Psalm 62. How do I know that? So when I'm in that place, and sometimes I'm just sad. Sometimes I feel like I envy the bears going into hibernation and waking up on Easter Sunday. Yay. So how do I know that God is our rock, our refuge, our foundation? I'm going to scriptures. I'm going to hymns, to music. I'm going to people who have witnessed it, who shared it, who lived it. And I'm going to images that speak to me. So one of those scriptures is, under the shadows of your wings. It just came to me. It was like, oh, sheltered under God's protective wings. And then I'm thinking of the little chicks when they hatch, and there is the mother hen, and when there is something scary, what do? Right there. And that's how I imagine God. Under the shadows of God's wings, we're safe. And then there are witnesses like Martin Luther. Martin Luther, with him, all the Reformation started. And first, he was one person pretty much against the whole empire. They had put a bounty up for his head. And whoever would have killed him was free. So see him on the road, kill him, it's okay. Scary thing. So he went into hiding. He translated the New Testament into German, and pretty much we have our German Bible and translation because of him. And during that time, during those trials, Psalm 46 became key to him. A mighty fortress is our God. when there was no other place to go, when he felt like his life falling apart, coming back to the foundation, a mighty fortress is our God. Or some of you know, and it's one of Fred Kelly's favorite hymns. When I visited him in the hospital, sometimes I take a hymnal with me, I look him up on my phone, a hymn, and I ask the people, what is a hymn that is meaningful to you? And Fred, it took him a while, and then I think he remembered hymns from earlier in his life that were meaningful to him. And then he said, Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Rock of Ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Rock of Ages. And the story is told that the composer of Rock of Ages was caught in a very bad storm, so he was looking for, where can I hide? Where do I find protection? Well, it was a rock, it was a crevice, it was like a small little cave. That's where he hid and was safe. And then he thought and came up with this song and with this music. Other images that come to me when I feel like that is, and I've seen this, I could not find it anymore, but there was this lighthouse built on a rock, and the waves were coming, and it felt like, whoa, if this would not be solid and grounded, the waves would just sweep it away. So rock, solid lighthouse. And where we grew up in Transylvania, we had fortified churches. It was like the church and then a fortress around it just to protect the churches from the invasions at that time, back in the Middle Ages. And then I'm thinking also of Jesus, and that's where our gospel reading comes into play. Jesus is going by the lakeshore, and he's calling. He's calling, come follow me, come follow me. And there are followers, and we know there were men and there were women followers. They were all following Jesus. And then Jesus promised them, and these guys and these gals had no idea what they were in for. No idea. But Jesus promised them, I will be with you always. We're not lone rangers as followers of Jesus. We need each other. Sometimes it feels like holding on to the seats of our pants. Sometimes feels like getting whiplash or being on that roller coaster. Ooh. And then we have each other, and we know we're held. And that's the image of a net of the hands that I'm getting. So the rock, the foundation, God is our rock, solid, and our hands become God's hands when we hold each other. Holding not just physically and literally, but holding each other in our hearts, writing a note, making a call, lifting someone up. So, where and how have you been held? Where and how did you experience that? Dietrich Bonhoeffer, he was a Lutheran pastor and theologian during the Nazi time. And he was one of a group of people who tried to kill Hitler, literally. They crafted a bomb, they put it under a big Situation Room table, desk. And while the general staff were all meeting there, it went off, but only half of it went off. Somehow it failed, so everyone got away, including Hitler. Well, it didn't take long until they found out who was behind the plot. They were all ending up in prison. And in December, on New Year's Eve, December 1944, just a few weeks before the liberation, before the freedom, before a capitulation of the Nazi regime, he wrote a poem and he wrote a hymn. He wrote it in the prison cell. He wrote it for his precious person to whom he was engaged, Maria. And he wrote right at the bottom of it, I entrust you in God's care. Give my love to my parents, to my siblings. Von guten Mächten wunderbar geborgen, erwarten wir getrost, was kommen mag. Gott ist bei uns am Abend und am Morgen und ganz gewiss an jedem neuen Tag. By gracious power so wonderfully sheltered and confidently waiting come what may be. We know that God is with us night and morning and never fails to greet us each new day. God is our rock, our Redeemer. Who held you? And how can your hands become God's hands?